Welcome to the Sunset Strip. I'm Max.
And I'm Tina.
And we are here to discuss Season 1, Episode 5 of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
The long lead story.
Do I really need
You
to
don't
say
need to say
Season
Season
1?
one.
Yeah.
There's only one season.
And we're not even covering all of that.
Nope, we're just going up to the Christmas episode.
So we're like, what, 2 episodes away from the end of this?
No, we're only about halfway through. There's like 10. This Christmas episode's like the 10th episode.
Oh, right. TV shows used to have like full seasons. That used to be a thing.
Right? So I don't want to get ahead of myself and say this is going to be a short episode, but it might be because
They let Sting do 2 full songs.
I know, which is funny because, well, look at me jumping right into it. But the episode opens with Matt trying to figure out what he's going to do to fill all of this extra time he has. And apparently the answer is just let Sting sing.
I haven't watched full episodes of SNL, but I am given to understand that is kind of what they do.
Well, yeah, I mean, the musical guests, they have 2 segments where they perform. Yeah, that's normal.
I mean, I watch my variety sketch shows, the old-fashioned way, which is grainy clips someone uploads to YouTube years after the fact.
Oh, okay, well...
With the exception of course, I Think You Should Leave, which we watch on Netflix like normal people.
Right.
Like you should if you haven't watched I Think You Should Leave.
And I was just going to say, okay, Grandpa, I watch my sketch shows in 4 or 5 2-minute clips on Red Note.
Had to stop yourself from saying TikTok there, huh?
Yep, I'm on Red Note now. Fuck TikTok.
Yeah,
I know.
we're really living the stupidest possible timeline.
Speaking of stupid timelines, let's get into Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
I think you mean super fucking brilliant timelines.
The smartest timelines ever. A timeline so smart that you only need like 1/10 as many people watching it.
And only one person writing it, because Matt let someone else write one skit last episode.
Not even a skit. Literally 90 seconds.
Oh my god. They're aware that skits can be under 17 hours long.
Well, it was actually just a joke on Weekend Update.
Yeah. But, like, Matt let someone else write one thing for the show, and it was plagiarism and nearly got them all killed or fired to death. So, now he's back to writing the whole show by himself, which is so stressful because it's hard being the smartest person in existence.
Yeah. So we open in Matt's office where he is trying to write, another sketch, and he's just talking about how poorly he's doing. And Martha Odell, the reporter who's writing the eponymous long lead story for Vanity Fair, is there watching him because she has been granted total access. And even though this scene is going to end with her kind of jerking off the idea of this super smart show, I do like how dismissive she is at the very beginning. Because he's like, it's really hard to write with you sitting there. And she's like, I bet it is. I bet it is.
I do want to point out the scene opens with a shot of the cheating baseball bat. What would you call it? The baseball bat that Harriet got signed by the baseball player where he put his phone number on it and she gave it to Matt because he likes baseball, which is such a passive-aggressive move.
Yeah, I kind of really love that. Ugh.
Okay, so Martha Odell has this, I want to call it the David E. Kelly sexy smart woman standing poses. It's all very hands on the hips at a slight angle. She does a lot of the, smart woman standing posing.
I think it's interesting that you credited that to David E. Kelly and not another male writer/showrunner who does that a lot.
Who?
Aaron Sorkin.
Oh, yeah. Weirdly enough, I feel like the two of them are different prestige levels of showrunner/writer.
Yeah, they're the same font, but different levels.
But they both tend to write women kind of the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, I see that.
You know who also kind of has this issue? Bill Lawrence.
Okay, that's a different font, though.
Yeah, it's a different font, but, it's from the same family, or they all use serifs or something. I'm losing control of this metaphor. But, he has the same thing, where all women are super genius, icy bitch goddesses, but also incredibly needy and self-loathing, and they need a man to hold their hand through everything, even though they are perfect at everything, and ice women.
Right. Okay, so Martha Odell, the reporter here, she gets to show off, right? Because she goes over to the board where all the sketches are laid out, and she looks at all the run times. And she's like, okay, so you have this much time left to fill. And he's like, well, we also have commercial breaks. So she's like, okay, so you have this much time left to fill. And he's like, how'd you do that math so fast?
She's like, it's basic addition.
She does still do it pretty fast.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm saying she says it's basic addition. I could not do basic addition that quickly in my head.
But we will also see in a minute how she's a mess. So, you know.
Yeah. Because all of these shows work off of the same principle, that women are perfect, but they're also desperately in need of male approval and or hand-holding.
Yeah, essentially. Ugh.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Okay, but now she's actually the one holding Matt's hand.
Because he, like a woman, he is a mega genius who is also incredibly needy.
Well, specifically, he asks her, why are you writing a story about this show? And she's like, I think what you guys are doing here is really important. I think it might be the most important thing happening in the country right now.
I mean, credit to them for getting the dick sucking out early for once.
Also, they do undercut it because immediately Tom walks in, one of the players, Tom, walks in a lobster costume and is like, hey, costumes need you to approve this.
And I do like this bit where Matt's like, are you supposed to be a lobster? And he's like, yes. And then Matt's like, then yes, it's good. Matt, you wrote the entire show. You should know if he's supposed to be a lobster. Or was that you just being like, it doesn't matter what the fucking lobster costume looks like as long as it reads as a lobster?
I actually took it as him being so sleep deprived from trying to write the entire show that he doesn't even remember what he wrote before.
I bet the lobster's the one that took that woman's cell phone in the bit that goes on for goddamn ever.
I will say... Okay, no, it's its own... Okay, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this. It is its own sketch because this scene ends with Martha saying the lobster sketch isn't funny yet. And so there is a lobster sketch. And I, granted, cannot see the entire board from the screen, but I did write down all of the sketches that I could read, and there was none that is a lobster sketch.
Okay, well, what have we got?
Oh, okay. I was going to save this for later, but I guess we can do it now. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Tyrone Cologne.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Jenny doesn't have a baby, which we will see a bit of.
It's no Pam, the overly confident, morbidly obese woman.
I know, right? Nicolas Cage couples counseling, which we will also see later. Society gal car wash. Sign language. Tom Jeter's metric conversion. I wonder if that's what that was for.
Maybe.
We are apparently, according to the board, getting yet another Commedia dell'arte sketch.
Oh my god.
I made a note of this. On the board is Centaur the Messenger. And earlier we saw that there was a Centaur the Courier. So I don't know if that got cut during the Friday Night Slaughter, and then they tried to rework it. They realized Messenger was better than Courier, or if this is a running thing of a Centaur who just does a bunch of jobs around New York City.
Specifically delivery-based jobs.
Yeah.
I'd watch that sketch.
Did I say sign language? One of the sketches just says sign language.
Yes, you did.
Spider-Man Party.
Okay.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a party with Spider-Man.
Tantric watercolor class.
Okay.
And finally, Al-Qaeda Culinary Institute, which I'm sure is completely sensitive and not at all racist.
Dear Lord. Okay, well, I was going to say that it feels like a lot of sketches, but I guess I don't know how many sketches SNL usually has. Like, as I alluded to earlier, I mostly see sketches, posted out of context. So for all I know, on the internet and solo forms. So for all I know, SNL does have like 10 sketches per episode, and most of them are just so terrible that they never escape the orbit of network TV.
It could be. And then of course, even if you do watch a full episode, you only remember the funny ones. Mm. But no, I think you're right. I think that is far more sketches than Saturday Night Live has in a week.
And they didn't even mention, like, the Nancy Grace thing. or apparently the lobster thing.
Oh, yeah, I didn't write down Nancy Grace because we're going to talk about that in detail. That was on the board. I could see that card.
Oh, okay. Which...
And I also didn't write down the 2 Sting performances or the News 60.
Yeah, Jesus, how much did they put in this time slot? And we know the Nancy Grace sketch runs for, like...
fucking ever.
Forever. So, like... Are the other ones all just very short?
I'm gonna have some stuff to say about that, so let's just put a pin in Nancy Grace. Meanwhile, back in the scene we are talking about, Martha Odell, talks to Matt about how she's trying to get to know him for her piece, and he says, "You've been following me around for 5 days. At this point, you know me better than my parents." And she says, "I don't know your parents at all."
That's one of the things that I feel like sounds clever when you're writing it, but isn't really at all.
Okay, here's why I bring it up.
All right.
Matt's like, "That's not what I meant." And Martha's like, "Yeah, I know, I was making a joke." And he's like, "Yeah, I stopped making jokes like that the 3rd time after I was shoved into a locker in high school." And listen, I do not for a second believe that Matt has stopped making those jokes. Not a chance in hell that he has stopped making those jokes.
Matt, those jokes are your language.
His love language?
Well, I'm assuming he went into comedy because he was desperate for people to love him. So, yes.
Yup.
Speaking of, he's like, "You're not going to get me to talk about Harriet." And she's like, "Look, I'm not writing a love story, but there is a story there." And he's like, "I bet you $10 American."
He bets her $100. He bets her $100 that she won't wear him down and get him to talk about Harriet. So, you know what? He's already cursed or whatever.
Yeah, he's going to owe her that money.
And then we go to credits.
At least it's short.
It's true. At least the credits are short. I have been coping with
everything
by watching a lot of Star Trek, and goddamn, they milk a credit sequence.
Let's just circle those pylons a few more times.
Right?
I was going to mention the 2nd season of White Lotus, which I have been enjoying, but oh my god, that opening credits scene the opening credits thing goes on forever.
Yeah, that is also accurate. But at least we live in the future where we have a skip button. Back in the day, you just had to watch it. You had no choice.
Well, back before Netflix introduced the skip button, which ages me for those of you who are... Actually, I don't know if anyone who's young would listen to a podcast about Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. But if you are young and listening to this, Netflix used to not have a skip intro button. And also the intro to Orange is the New Black goes on for half past forever.
It does.
And the thing is, it's a really good intro.
Yeah, but after the 4th or 5th time, and remember, it's Netflix, so you're watching all the episodes in a row. It's like, okay, just skip.
Weeds also had that issue, which, it has a good intro, but the ticky-tacky little boxes. If you're binging the show... then, oh my god, it goes on forever.
Listen, there is only one opening credit sequence that I will watch every time and never skip.
Happy Endings.
Not counting the ones like Happy Endings or Studio 60 where it's so short that it's not worth it to skip it.
I mean, Happy Endings is also genuinely good.
It is, but it's also only 15 seconds, maybe?
The Nanny.
The Nanny! I will watch that one every single time!
It's so catchy.
You know what else?
What?
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Well, yeah, they always have good ones.
So you know what? The lesson here is just have a saga cell as your opening, credits. Not enough shows do saga cells anymore. I miss that. You know what a saga cell is?
Yes.
Did you know it, or did you just know it from context?
I believe I just know it from context. But
of this conversation?
Yes, but it also seems pretty self-evident. It's a intro song that introduces you to the show by explaining the premise to you.
Right, like the Gilligan's Island opening.
Ugh, barf. I've only seen one episode, and it was, I think, one of the worst things I've ever seen on television.
How is it possible you've only seen one episode of Gilligan's Island? That's blowing my mind.
Well, I didn't see the whole episode.
What did you watch when you were homesick from school?
The Nanny.
Oh, right. You're 9 years younger than I am.
Yeah. I was in this sweet spot of daytime television. Also, 2 tons of Law & Order. So it was always on TNT. And it was always the good seasons, too. The ones with Jerry Orbach.
Anyway, Danny is meeting up with Jordan in a bar. She wants to talk to him about this new show she's trying to acquire for NBS called Nations.
It's a smart show for smart people who like smart things.
But most importantly, it's about the United Nations, and yet it's really interesting and smart and funny, and the dialogue is great, and it's written by this young New York playwright.
Who's, like, really, really handsome and good at everything and has an amazing dick.
Anyway, she wants Danny to...
You got a self-insert, my self-insert about self-inserts.
Self-insert my... Anyway.
It's Sorkin's all the way down.
It really is. It really, really is. I actually wrote in my notes 2 masturbatory plots, no waiting, because between this and Martha Odell talking about how important the show is, and that's why she's writing a story about it, I'm like, oh my god, Aaron Sorkin. Love yourself a little more. I'm worried about your self-esteem. Anyway, Danny says that he's not going to help Jordan get the show. Danny's...
HBO wants it, and Danny's like, it belongs on HBO. It needs a serious platform where people can appreciate it for how utterly brilliant and brave it is. What an amazing thing this writer is birthing into the world, etc., so on and so forth.
But the important thing here is that Danny is a director that up-and-comers look up to, so that's why Jordan thinks that he can talk this kid into, bringing it to NBS. But Danny's like, no. Absolutely not. And then he talks about his street cred, and it's very cringy.
No, it is very, very, very cringy.
Okay.
Cred is short for the word credibility.
I am so glad you just said that.
All right.
Okay. So, we go to Studio 60 for the tech rehearsal. And the scene that we see, the sketch that we see a painful amount of,
oh my god.
Literally, I think about this sketch all the time. Like, in my life, I will be thinking about this sketch and going, what was happening with this sketch?
Like,
what was the thought process behind this?
Okay. Like most things on this show, this reminds me of a bit from 30 Rock.
I mean, that's why we have a segment about it.
Which I'm not going to bring up in that segment because I don't think 30 Rock was riffing on it specifically.
To be fair, I don't think 30 Rock was riffing on this show with the thing I'm going to bring up. I think they were just making fun of Sting, but continue.
Yeah. So, in the bit where they need to convince Cabletown to save TGS, Liz Lemon intentionally causes a gas leak so that...
We brought that up like 2 weeks ago.
But... They're doing TGS and everyone's just saying nonsense words because everyone's high on gas. And the whole audience is laughing and laughing because they're high on gas. And that's sort of my impression here because everyone is acting like this Nancy Mace thing is... Nancy Grace. Is the funniest thing in the goddamn universe. And it's not... They're not telling jokes!
Nancy Mace would be funnier. That kind of writes itself, honestly. Like, I can already visualize exactly what that sketch would be.
It'd just be Nancy Grace, but whenever she'd go on one of her tangents, she just ends up by macing the person she's talking to.
It writes itself!
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Nancy Grace is a talk show host who does
investigative journalism.
Yeah, who does shows about, like, missing girls and is very sensationalistic and...
She was parodied on one of my favorite episodes of Leverage.
Oh! Yeah. Okay, so the conceit of this sketch is that it is not the young blonde girl who has gone missing, as it so often is, but rather her cell phone. She lost her cell phone in Martinique, and this is Nancy Grace's 7th day of covering that. And I don't really understand why that's supposed to be funny.
You see, because normally people would be paying attention to more important things, but instead of a girl being kidnapped, it's a girl's cell phone, and therefore this is a frivolous thing to take lots of time to play. It's not a sustainable joke. It's not a joke at all.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, you could you could make a joke where if it was this very privileged white girl and her missing cell phone is getting more attention than, like...
Oh, yeah, if there was, like, a massacre at a village this girl was, like, near. If there was a massacre on the on the town outside of the resort this girl was staying at, and Nancy Grace's whole thing was that she was investigating this girl's cell phone, well, this massive human tragedy is happening right outside the gates.
Okay, but here's why they whiff that.
Yes.
Nancy Grace does get accused of basically just focusing on missing white women.
Yeah.
And there is a bit where she has all of the names running along the bottom of the screen of...
ugly, poor, etc. people
who have lost their cell phones.
Yeah.
Like, so you're saying that their thing is also frivolous. Like, you've lost the joke. But mostly, this is also just super racist. Because
there's a lot of accent going on here.
It's not even the accent. The other joke is that they keep cutting to the police officer from Martinique, who Nancy Grace is grilling because he hasn't found this cell phone yet. And he's like, I have more important things to do. And also, I don't know if you can see behind me, but the police station has no door and no roof. And also, our only computer is a Commodore 64 that was a gift from a cruise ship captain.
Yeah, that's pretty racist.
And, like, just to feel comfortable calling this racist.
Yes.
I went to Google Maps and I went to Google Street View to look at police stations in Martinique. And no! They are completely what you would expect a police station to look like. This is just flat out racism.
Yeah, like...
This is just flat out American imperialist exceptionalist nonsense.
I don't want to ever give Family Guy credit for stuff, but there's an episode where they have a Hispanic character, like, it's them trying to ape Modern Family so that they could get Emmys like Modern Family did.
Okay.
And they have Gloria do a Gloria joke about, Colombia and how it's full of, drug-dealing murderers.
Uh-huh.
And, they do the joke, and Peter's like, Oh, what? That joke's not funny when we do it, but it's half of what they do on Modern Family, but it's funny there. It's racist when we do it, but it's funny in live action. Is that what the deal is? And it's like, yeah.
No, it's racist there too.
Well, I mean, that the point is pointing out that
yeah,
they had a lot of racist jokes in Modern Family.
Yeah, in fairness to Modern Family, in the last season, Gloria does say that she was basically just making all that up.
Yeah, no, I love it. It doesn't. I again, not qualified to talk about this sort of thing. I don't know, but it does feel almost like it justifies it when she's talking to the camera and she's like, actually, Columbia's a really normal place. It's like Jenna's, I can't do this. I've never met
Mickey Rourke. I do just want to circle back to you talking about the gas leak episode of 30 Rock, though.
Yes.
Because this is the tech rehearsal, right? So there's not an audience yet.
And yet people are still laughing.
No, what I'm saying is the people who are cracking up are the tech people who have not just seen this particular sketch several times already this week, but have also seen this show over and over again. And yet they're like, oh, this is brilliant and hilarious. Like, of all of the people who would be laughing, I feel like it would not be the tech people.
Mm. They're too busy being elders in Charmed. That's a reference to our other podcast, where in the season 6 finale, they did not get an actual actor to play an elder. They got one of the tech guys and just put him in a robe.
Okay, it did take me a second. But yes, that did happen in Charmed.
I mean, you're the one who told me about it.
I did tell you that.
Up.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, could you tell.
Anyway, the cast is sent home for the night. They've got everything they need tech-wise. And Martha Odell corners Harriet. She wants to ask her a few questions about the show.
And tell her how brilliant her Nancy Grace impression is, which, I mean, it's a Southern accent, and she already has a Southern accent. I'm sorry, I don't feel like we're exactly reaching for the stars here impression-wise.
Well, as we said last week when she did Meet the Press with Juliette Lewis, even if it's a brilliant impression, that doesn't justify the sketch.
Oh my god, the Juliette Lewis thing. I'm sure I mentioned this then too. But, you know, a version of this bit that actually works is not in 30 Rock, in Parks and Rec. How Amy Poehler is genuinely bad at impressions, so naturally they make her do impressions all the time in that show.
Yeah, but that's totally different joke.
Yeah, but I feel like it's also funnier.
It's like in the murder mystery episode of The Office when Oscar comes in and tries to do a southern accent and just absolutely cannot. That is in of itself pretty funny. And you know why it's funny too? It lasts for like 5 seconds.
I was about to reference, since I guess we can't not reference Buffy on any podcast, Spike's fake American accent, which is even better because James Marsters is an American, but his really bad fake American accent when he's pretending to be a friend of Xander's in front of Riley in season 4.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, I'm a friend of Xander.
Yeah. I like Americans doing bad American accents. I also like, just like I like watching actors pretend to be bad actors.
I also really genuinely like when actual British people can't do American accents.
That's good too. But honestly, watching someone who's genuinely a good actor just pretend to be terrible at it is way funnier than anything Aaron Sorkin is putting on the show. That's why 30 Rock is a better show.
Later in the episode, again,
the Nicolas Cage couples counseling?
Yeah. Simon Helberg does a really solid Nicolas Cage. It's a good Nicolas Cage impression, but that can't carry the entire sketch. You can't just be like, hey, one of our actors does a really good Nick Cage. Let's give him 5 minutes to just say whatever is going through his head. Although apparently Matt wrote it, so it's brilliant. Because he writes everything.
It's a shame, too, because I do like, again, from, I guess it wasn't last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago with Simon Helberg. I did like a really great line he had where he said, where Matt asked him if he could do a Tom Cruise impression, and he said, I can do Ben Stiller, and Stiller can do a Cruise impression, so I'll get there. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of really love that.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like Simon Helberg's a kind of underrated actor. He's always good in stuff I see him in.
Yeah, too bad he plays a sex pest in Big Bang Theory, and that's what most people know him for.
Yeah, I was about to say, I haven't seen the big thing that he was in, which was The Big Bang Theory, but, like, he was in...
Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog?
Yeah, he's Moist in that. He's that FBI guy in Poker Face. He's in a lot of stuff, and he's usually good in stuff.
Yeah.
I mean... I'm sure that The Big Bang Theory pays for all of the, like, indie projects he did after it. Like, you know, David Cross...
I do not begrudge him getting that money.
David Cross said it. He's like, every single thing that you like me in was funded by me being in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. Every single thing I've done that you liked was paid for by me being in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies.
Like Patton Oswalt in King Queens.
That thing where he just didn't react when he didn't have a line. I've seen some clips. It's pretty funny.
Yup.
Why did they just not care? It seems weird that they let him be on multiple episodes of the show and he says his lines and then he just turns off.
I guess they didn't care. Anyway, Martha O'Dell is talking to Harriet. And Harriet needs to, speaking of street cred, she needs to show her, like, I'm just a normal American from real America. And so she tells Martha that really, she should be interviewing the PAs and the interns, because they're the real stars, and they're the ones who really know what's going on the show. And I don't disagree with that, but it feels fake. I feel like you're trying to portray a specific image here, Harriet.
Yeah, it feels like a very calculated thing to say. Again, pageant queen answer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The real heroes are our troops. Although I think we don't say that anymore.
No, I don't think so.
America's in a very weird place right now.
Yeah, no kidding. So, Martha wants to interrogate Harriet about her religion because she's Southern Baptist. And so Harriet eventually tells her the whole story. By the way, Martha is not writing anything down, and Harriet asks her, don't you need to write this down? And Martha's like, no, I don't. And I get it. She wants to, like, have this one-on-one conversation. She wants her to open up, and she feels like writing it down would kind of put a thing between them. So I do get that.
You're not going to be able to quote anything here, though.
Right? Especially because this is a show written by Aaron Sorkin with great dialogue, Harriet's saying a lot of great quotable stuff.
Yeah, she goes into her whole backstory. She was the youngest of 17 kids, and she was the only girl. So she was the only one her mom loved. Her dad was an alcoholic.
Look, because she was also the only one who became a Christian.
Yes. Her mom successfully converted her to being, like, a big Christ person.
The way she converted her to being a Christian is that she put Harriet in a bunch of, like, church plays. And in one of the church plays, Harriet forgot her lines and just started doing impressions. And everyone started laughing, and when people were laughing, she felt the spirit move her, and that was the day that she was baptized.
So, there's a thing I've read some articles about. I'm graphically not from this world, so I can't really speak to it. But there's a bunch of things that people who grow up evangelical talk about, where they're like, look, if you don't grow up in this environment, you don't understand how the things, like basic things that bring you joy as a child, are inherently tied to religion. So you feel like the joys that you get from those things can't exist in a non-religious context.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of those like fun poppy Christian bands, you enjoy them because you're a tween listening to fun poppy music. But you're aware that it's a Christian thing, and you're like, oh, I couldn't get this from a non-Christian source. And you're not going to be listening to, you know,
Yeah. I mean, that's what King of the Hill was kind of moving around. I don't feel like they understood the depth of it, but that's what they were kind of moving around in the episode where Bobby starts going to the cool church.
Yeah. I read this really interesting article about super Christian Sonic fan art.
Okay.
Because apparently Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the few things that evangelical kids get to play. So it's edgy specifically because it's a non-Christian thing that you can interact with as a Christian. Assuming your parents aren't like, I guess there's probably some evangelicals who have like big things with it, but they're like, this is the cool, if you are an 11-year-old who has grown up on nothing but VeggieTales, and suddenly you can, you know, you're playing as a character who's mildly snarky to adults, it is the most badass thing in the universe. But also, since you grew up in this thing, you feel the urge to draw him praying to God, which is why there's this weird thing with...
That's kind of amazing. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole tonight.
Yeah, I'll send you the article. Sonic being the flashpoint for a lot of weird obsessive behavior that follows people into adulthood is... I feel like you could really explore that. I feel like there's some psychology going on there.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, but that's for another podcast.
Yeah.
A podcast that should be hosted by H. Bomber Guy.
Yeah. I like reading other people writing about this sort of thing. I don't want to actually go into it myself. I'm okay not looking at Sonic fan art other than what crosses your, you know, feed naturally as a result of being on the internet. I set up a Blue Sky account for my dad.
Yeah.
Recently, and I didn't warn him. Like I followed like a couple art history feeds for him, you know. I put him in those feeds. And I was trying to think of a way to be like, okay, so I know your only exposure to furries has been that one episode of CSI about furries from like the early 2000s, but furries are kind of the background noise of the non-Facebook internet. So heads up, you are probably going to see some furries at some point. But I didn't. I was like, you know what? I have him on the art history feed. I don't think there's going to be any furry stuff there. I'm assuming but also I'm aware of how much it infiltrates literally everything on the internet. So
yeah.
Maybe I should have given him a heads up. I don't know. I don't know how much he's actually going to be on Blue Sky. But if you're listening to this podcast, Dad, remember the number one rule on Blue Sky is that you don't follow me on Blue Sky.
My mom follows you on Blue Sky.
Yeah, well, your mom's seen some shit then.
All right, so So the interview is interrupted because over the sound system, they hear the sound of a lute being played because Sting is here and he's doing his sound check. And Sting is playing a lute because he's insisting on doing all of his classical music off of his classical CD that he has coming out.
Okay.
This is the first time when we just cut to a long scene of Sting playing the lute.
This is the thing, I mean, we all know about, you know, the Beach Boys and Pet Shop, whatever.
Pet Sounds.
Yeah, Pet Sounds. Like, this is a thing popular artists like to do where they have their experimental phases and either it becomes great art or it becomes Liz Phair's follow-up albums to her very big self-titled album.
Look, I'm all for people experimenting and stretching, but when you go on Saturday Night Live, which this show is obviously an XB4, you gotta play your hits. You can't go on there and play the lute, Sting.
To quote Homer Simpson, no riffing, no new crap, play taking care of business.
No verses, just get to the taking care of business part. Yeah, basically. Alright, so Martha asks Harriet one last question before she lets her go for the night. She wants to know why it was that Matt was on the show for a while without breaking through, but then when Harriet joined the show, Matt started writing for her, and all of a sudden, Matt's stuff started getting on the air, and Harriet started getting big parts, and Harriet became a household name. And I'm like, I feel like you're saying that Harriet needed Matt to break through. And considering that she is obviously Kristen Chenoweth, she even talks about how she was originally a music major before she got into comedy. Considering that she's Kristen Chenoweth and Matt is obviously Aaron Sorkin. Fuck you, Aaron Sorkin!
Yeah, Kristen Chenoweth wouldn't have been big if it weren't for Aaron Sorkin. Okay.
Ugh.
You know, if it weren't for Garfunkel, Paul Simon would have been nothing. If it weren't for Pete Best, there'd be no Beatles.
Anyway, Harriet says a bunch more quotable stuff and then walks off. And Martha's like, I need a pen! I need a pen! So that she can write down all of these quotable things Harriet said. You know what? I'm not going to say anything about it now. You know why?
Because you actually took notes.
I did take notes, but no, because I'm going to talk about it in my segment about how Aaron Sorkin hates women.
All right. One of our 3 segments. A gender I write very well.
When the story calls for it.
Oh my god. It's one of the things that's rough about watching older Simpsons. You have all of these brilliant writers who just don't want to write women ever.
Yeah. And yet all of the most memorable episodes, well, not all of, but a lot of the most memorable episodes are Lisa or Marge episodes.
Like, Moaning Lisa is, I think, without a doubt, the best episode of season 1 by a lot.
Yeah. And I remember a poll that was done, and it was quite a while ago. I mean, like, it was like a couple decades ago, so there have been a lot of Simpsons episodes between then and now. But I remember Lisa's Wedding was voted the #1 episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the one, what's the episode called where Marge joins the country club?
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of, too.
Oh,
that's so
such a good episode.
At times like this, all you can do is laugh.
Oh, fuck. Devastating. Anyway, moving on to a less iconic show. The next day, Jordan is being pitched and Jack Rudolph is in the room as well, but they are being pitched a show called Search and Destroy. And this is a reality show where couples are trying to break each other up.
I know what you're thinking. It's just Temptation Island. But get this, it's in a house. It's not on an island. I know, the thing is that they did research ahead of time and
They hire private investigators to find out the dark secrets of the couples and reveal them. Here's the thing, though.
Wasn't that also what they did on Temptation Island? I mean, I know it was hot people.
No, they did it on that show with the Moment of Truth.
Oh my god, Moment of Truth. Which, why would you bother? If you're going on that show, why would you lie? You know you're going to get dinged by the thing.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Polygraphs are basically junk science. It may as well have been phrenology. So I feel like it's very possible to go on there and tell the truth and have it ding you.
One of my favorite Mad TV sketches is the moment of truth with Connie Chung and Maury Povich because they're married, which is so
that is
weird. It's a really good sketch because it's kind of pointing out it's weird because it's super accurate to this reality show no one remembered. Like, obviously, when Mad TV did it, it was a contemporary thing, but it's such a brutal takedown of this show because Connie Chung is just immediately answering all of the questions, and the host has to be like, no, you have to act like it's hard, otherwise this show's going to be 15 minutes. And there's a bit where she's about to answer, and he's like, and he keeps stopping her from doing it because they always paused for forever before answering the questions.
Yeah, the Seams really did show on that show.
Yeah. Although, given that TV now is just phone games, but people playing them in real life, or like, hey, you want to see a bunch of D-list celebrities playing The Floor is Lava? Because there's 7 seasons of that on Netflix.
Oh my god, there is. Oh, anyway, this TV show, Search and Destroy, they hire private investigators to dig up dirt. Here's the thing. At the beginning of his pitch, he says the couples are trying to break each other up. But the couples aren't hiring the private investigators. So what are the couples are just sitting there? The couples, what, how do the other couples factor in?
Okay, here's my pitch for it. You have to do challenges to unlock bad information about the other couples.
Oh, yeah, and they all go to the wine cellar and they pull out the wine bottle that has the information in it, like in, Claim to Fame. Yeah, there you go. That's how Claim to Fame works. If you win a challenge, you get to go to the wine vault and pull out the wine bottle that, like, tells you who someone is.
Although in this case, I feel like you get more of a, like, choice thing, like you choose which couple to find a secret out about, and the secrets could be, like, ranked by intensity or whatever.
That's exactly how it works on Claim to Fame.
Okay. I just remember the bit you showed me where,
Oh, okay, well, it doesn't straight out tell you who it is. There's a little puzzle that you have to solve to figure out who they are.
Well, the bit where you showed me, Donny Osmond's son realizing that no one knew who his dad was because they got like 5 really obvious clues if you knew who Donny Osmond was. He's like, do people not know who my dad is? I thought my dad was really famous.
Also, he looked like cut and paste of his dad. So if people didn't know at the beginning, like, they were never gonna know.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was like both his parents because he was a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll.
Okay, back to this show.
You're not even going to call me on accusing Donnie and Marie of being in an incestuous relationship. You're just going to skate right by that.
I am going to skate right by that. Anyway, the producer pitches that the big thing about Search and Destroy is that it's airing during the week that it's shot. So it's happening basically in real time so that the viewers can be involved too. The viewers can be researching as well. And he talks about this as being revolutionary. You know what other show does that?
Big Brother.
Big Brother! One of, like, the first of this current generation of reality shows. Not even this generation, like 3 generations back. Like, you think you're so special. It's like you don't even know Big Brother exists.
Well, it's my thing with superhero parodies that are written by people who are unfamiliar with superhero stuff.
Oh,
where
yeah.
you come up with, like, a deconstructionist take on whatever, and it's something that Frank Miller did in the fucking 80s. It's something comics were doing in the 60s.
Well, it's like this book I'm reading, this Jodi Picoult book I'm reading right now, The 10th Circle, where the guy is a comic book writer, but the big thing is, y'all, he writes comic books, but for adults. Mind blown!
Yeah. His superhero is going into hell, and it's based off Dante, so it's like an intellectual thing, and not something the fucking X-Men did back in the 80s.
Oh, man. Anyway, they finish the pitch and they leave the room, and Jack is yelling at Jordan for not being nicer to them because they're gonna go pitch this all over town, and they're not gonna take MBS's offer if Jordan's a bitch to them. And he says to her, half your job description is being disarmingly seductive.
I feel like that's not really half of a, CEO of a broadcast company's job.
It's so gross. And it's like, okay, her job is probably to be charming, but she's a woman, so you said disarmingly seductive, and that's freaking gross. But she tells Jack that she doesn't care how she came off because she's not bidding on the show, and Jack is outraged because the show is going to make so much money and he wants money.
Hey, it's a reality show where people cheat on their spouses. Such a thing has never existed before.
God.
He points out that this guy has, the last 5 shows this guy has done, they're all, gross, slime bag, dirt, lowest common denominator entertainment, but they've all been top rated, and this one's going to be top rated too. And she's like, I don't care. We're elevating the brand of our network, which is not a terrible idea, especially as a network.
Yeah, having a brand identity and having that brand identity be, this is where you get quality television, is not the worst idea. Although it is going to be an expensive idea, I would point out. Jordan has this kind of weirdly throwaway line when she's ranting about the show, where she talks about the last couple standing, who's going to be super interesting, right? How interesting that couple must be. And we go over that line so quickly, and it reminded me of the TV show True Beauty.
Okay.
Do you remember the TV show True Beauty? It's a reality show. It's Ashton Kutcher produced it.
Is it? No, I was thinking of The Swan. I was going to be is it the one where the women competed for, is it one of those ones where it's supposed to be, a Love is Blind style thing where it doesn't matter because everyone's hot anyway?
Nope.
Okay, what was True Beauty about?
Okay, so a bunch of people think that they're on a TV show that is about, who's the hottest person in America or whatever. But in actuality, there are all of these secret moral tests being given to them, and they're actually testing for inner beauty. And the thing is, by the end of the show,
it's really boring.
It's because only the nice people are left. Yeah.
I mean, Unreal had it right. Or millions of hours of people breaking down how The Bachelor works on YouTube, which is way more interesting than I feel like The Bachelor is.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I like The Bachelor fan take because they're look, this is how they're keeping you involved. This is how they're developing storylines. If you've seen a few seasons, you can pick up on how they push or pull or manipulate. All of the interesting stuff is in how the end product is being presented to you.
Mm-hmm.
It is something where you can very clearly see the stitches, which is interesting in and of itself. You can tell when they're pushing someone, you understand that someone who is a villain is going to last way longer than they should in this sort of show, because clearly the producers are going to want to keep them around for drama. There's a reason Queen Victoria was in, she made it really deep into her season, and everyone fucking hated her. And she was, clearly a genuinely bad person.
You know what show is good for that? For seeing the seams of how they're being manipulated?
What?
I Want to Marry Harry.
Because they had to cut all that footage of them being we know it's not actually Prince Harry.
They did. But also, it's a show about, how to, this is terrible, but it's a show about, how to gaslight people.
Yeah.
It's a case study in how you manipulate people. That's the reality show where a bunch of women were competing to marry someone, and they were led to believe it was Prince Harry, although they were never explicitly told that. And it was denied at every turn because that's what made them believe it was real.
Mm. Gaslighting, the show.
It really is. Anyway, Jordan's not going to bid on the show. Jack is mad at this. Jordan tells him that her contract says she can pass on any show she wants, and the only person who can step in is, the CEO of the whole conglomerate. So Jack is going to go to him and basically ask him to overrule Jordan. He really wants this show.
Well, we get to see Ed Asner, so that's nice.
Yeah. Then we go to the dress rehearsal for the show, and we get to see a little bit of the sketch, Jenny Doesn't Have a Baby, which is just 2 women telling a third woman that she should have a baby. And I just want to point out the guest host on the show is Lauren Graham playing herself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's another card that was on that I saw on the thing that I didn't write down was Lauren Graham monologue. How long is this show? Anyway, no Gilmore Girls references. Like, them doing Jenny doesn't have a baby just highlights for me how they are not using Lauren Graham to her
comedic full potential.
Yeah. But whatever.
Also, little tangent here. I know this is a thing, people evangelicalizing having kids to people who don't have kids.
Yeah.
Especially women. I know that's,
People telling women they should have kids.
Yeah. But as a parent, I love our kid more than anything on earth. You should not have a baby unless you are 100% ready to have a baby.
You gotta be all in.
Like, yeah, you need to be completely committed before having a baby. I don't understand people who are like, oh, it'll come, it'll come if if you feel nervous about it, just power through. No, be sure that you want a baby before having a baby.
Agreed.
Like, again, I love our kid more than anything in the universe. She's my favorite person. You need to be ready to be a parent. It is very, very stressful. It is amazing. But if you are not going into it willing to give it your all, it will be bad for you and the child. Like, evangelicalizing having kids is something people only do if they do not have good intentions for you.
That's accurate. I will say, though, when this sketch ends, the dress rehearsal is over, which means this was going to be the last sketch of the night. So it makes sense because that's where Saturday Night Live at least puts their weakest stuff.
Because they're assuming you're going to be falling asleep or tired. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So Tom goes...
I always go to the American Dad line. You really think that was good enough to go out on?
Right. So now that the dress rehearsal is over, Tom's kind of filling in the dress rehearsal audience on what's happening because that's his job to, do the crowd work. And he says that now it's time for the Friday night slaughter when Matt and Danny decide what gets cut and what stays when they see how far over the time they are. They're over time. That makes sense, right?
Okay, so I guess it makes sense that they write 1,000,002 sketches so that they can cut half of them.
Right.
But hopefully 3/4 of them.
But Tom says that what they're deciding is whether or not you're going to be the next Bill Murray or the next Domino's pizza delivery guy. And Bill Murray was, in fact, a not yet ready for primetime player, right? Bill Murray was on Saturday Night Live. But that is not at all what he is known for. Why is that the Saturday Night Live actor you chose?
Why not Chevy Chase?
Well, we know why not Chevy Chase. He's an asshole. But yeah, why not Chevy Chase?
I mean, I have some bad news for you about Bill Murray.
No, but I mean, we really didn't want to say his name and accidentally summon him like Beetlejuice.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, it seems so in character for Aaron Sorkin, who does not seem to really understand how sketch comedy works, to be like, yeah, Bill Murray, who famously got his start on Saturday Night Live. I mean, you know who else was on Saturday Night Live?
Will Ferrell.
Oh, I was going in the other direction.
Oh. Joey Buttafuoco.
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh.
But you wouldn't be like Robert Downey Jr., who famously got his start on Saturday Night Live!
Oh. Or Tim Robinson.
I'm sorry, I heard someone last week say that maybe the title of I Think You Should Leave is him quoting Lorne Michaels, and I can't stop thinking about that.
Yes.
It makes sense, though. His stuff is just, it's its own thing, and it's perfect right where it is in its own show.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think it would have landed if it had gotten through on SNL.
No, not at all.
I thought I was going to be eaten, and I was relieved that I didn't have to go to work the next day.
Okay.
What the fuck is wrong with our society?
That sketch hits me so hard. The doggy door sketch?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
Put a Shrek mask on a pig.
It was a Nixon mask.
A Nixon mask on a pig.
Well, as long as we're talking about I Think You Should Leave, I didn't bring it up earlier, but when you were talking about The Bachelorette, all I was thinking of is, you're just here for the zip line.
I mean, every time I drive a car, I think about I don't know how any of this works. I'm so scared right now. I Think You Should Leave is good. You should watch I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah.
It's genuinely brilliant sketch comedy writing.
It really, really is.
There are a few sketches that go too far into the Tim Robinson screaming thing. Although I like the sketches where he's the normal guy and someone else is being weirded out.
I love that where it feels like he's giving the funny part to someone else and playing the straight man.
Yeah.
It feels generous. So, backstage, while the Friday Night Slaughter is going on, backstage, the PA, Suzanne, talks to Tom and is like, hey, Martha Odell wanted to talk to me, and they said it was okay, so I talked to her, and I accidentally told her about Matt trying to go get the boot signed by the Bombshell Babies last week, and now I realize that was a terrible thing to do, because basically Matt is the greatest man who ever lived, and I love and worship him, and I thought it was a cute story, but then when I told it, I realized it's fucking horrifying!
And is there any way I can throw myself on this sword to save the brilliant genius Matt?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tom is apparently in love with Suzanne, a thing we have not seen, and he's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Okay, Tom.
Okay. Oh, and then we get a little moment of Danny being gross about women. I mean, first he tells Matt that he shouldn't cut Jenny doesn't have a baby because he can't keep cutting the sketches that the host is in or people won't host anymore. But at the end of this conversation, he ends up cutting it anyway. But then he tells Matt that he needs to...
Why is Lauren Graham even here?
Right? But then he tells Matt that he needs to stop thinking about Harriet and just go to the wrap party tonight and have sex with a bimbo, essentially. Just to clear his palate. And honestly, the way Danny's talking about women is disgusting. I hate it.
Well, remember, it's How I Met Your Mother rules for women, where there are cool girls who can hang, who are the real people women.
Uh-huh.
And then there's sex robots for sex, who are dumb and can be tricked into having sex with you and are only there to have sex with. And those are the two kinds of women who exist.
I mean, are there cool women who can hang?
Yeah.
Or do they just seem like cool women who can hang until they become messes like all women are, according to Aaron Sorkin?
Okay, well, now we're into the complicated territory, because you're getting your Bill Lawrence here a little bit. But also, I feel like there are women who talk in Aaron Sorkin talk, and there are women who don't.
That's an interesting, yeah.
Whereas all men are Aaron Sorkin men.
Yeah, oof. You're right.
Like, we're not supposed to like...
Jack?
Yeah, we're not supposed to like Jack, but he does the Aaron Sorkin talk.
Yeah.
It's not like that guy in Boston Legal, who the, like, attractive, square-jawed, blonde, white guy, whose one personality trait is talking too fast, who basically exists so James Spader can verbally dominate him in front of attractive women. Like, there aren't two layers of men, the elevated man and the non-elevated man.
Yeah.
All men in Sorkin are elevated.
Interesting. Huh. I hadn't thought about that, but I think you're right.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't watched a ton of Sorkin stuff. I've seen some West Wing, I've seen some... So this could be totally inaccurate, but...
No, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Alright, so Tom goes to talk to Martha Odell, and he's like, hey, I know you can't kill the story with Suzanne, but do me a favor and say that I'm the one who gave you the story so that she doesn't get the blame from people. And Martha's like, oh, that's so sweet of you. It's a real hero move. And then Simon comes and grabs Tom and is like, come out into the hallway with me so I could talk about how terrible you are about talking to the press. And Tom tells Simon, hey, Suzanne told her the story about the Bombshell Babes boot. And Simon's like, okay, well, what else does she know? Does she know about the National Anthem? About the 700 Club? About Jeannie?
Does she know about radios?
She does know about radios, because when Simon goes back into the room, he's got his hot mic on. His mic is hot, and Martha Odell has the headphones because she was backstage watching the show.
Once again reminding me of a better bit from a better show. The morning announcements runner from that one episode of American Dad.
I thought you were going to say the bit where Jack Donaghy's mic is hot in 30 Rock.
Yeah, the one where
Liz distracts everybody by ripping off her shirt.
You're the bra lady that went crazy.
I will say, though, Simon going on a rant and then realizing his mic is hot and Martha has heard everything, I did write in my notes that this is a scene I genuinely found funny for the reasons that Aaron Sorkin wanted me to find it funny. So,
credit where credit is due.
Yes.
You intentionally wrote something funny. Intentionally.
Yep. So, over at the corporate meeting with Ed Asner and Jack and Jordan, we're learning that Ed Asner is building a casino in Macau, which will be relevant in like 5 episodes, but I guess they're seeding it now, so good for them.
That's TV writing.
And essentially, he tells Jack that he's not going to overrule him. He says, if you want Jordan to cook the meal, you gotta let her buy the ingredients. And also, when I started off, I was just an intern on the Danny Thomas show, and now I'm CEO of everything.
My God.
I know, right?
We have to let this poor lowly woman CEO work her way up to man.
Whoa. Yeah. Damn.
She's the CEO of this company. Why is everyone talking about her like she's a puppy?
Okay, no. She's the head of the network. But Jack is the chairman of the network, so he's above her. And Ed Asner is the CEO of the conglomerate that owns the network, so he's above all of them. So, she is the head of the network, but she's in a room where that's the least powerful position.
There's a great bit in Q-Force where their boss, V,
Yeah.
she's like, look, I'm the most powerful woman in the agency, and under me is the head chef in the cafeteria. She's the next powerful woman in the spy agency we work for. And her pasta is terrible.
Well, if you want her to cook the meals, you gotta let her buy the ingredients.
Yeah.
Alright, now we're on to the show.
Q-Force was underrated. I mean, it's very early 2000s logo, but it's fun. Netflix canceled it after 1 season.
As they do. So, Nicolas Cage, couples counselor. The premise of this seems to be that they're normal, but Nicolas Cage is putting his own crap on them, which could be funny, I guess, but I don't really, and you know, this show, Studio 60 is like 10 years old, so maybe I just am not remembering the time, but I didn't really think of Nicolas Cage as being a coked up maniac at the time.
Again, The Simpsons did a funnier version of this bit with the Gary Busey.
See, this skit works if it's Gary Busey.
Yeah. The bit where Gary Busey is doing a video explaining restraining orders, and he gives an example of this guy who does romantic comedy behavior in real life, and it's just stalking a woman, and he's like, let me tell you a little secret. That man was me, and that woman was a composite of 16 different women and 1 recording company.
No, seriously though, if it's Gary Busey couple counseling, and the joke is they come to him with normal problems, like she leaves her dental floss on the bathroom sink, and he is assuming that everyone is coked up like he is, then it's a joke. But that's not how I see Nick Cage.
Yeah, I don't think of him as... Is it weird I don't think of him as a coke guy? I just think of him as naturally very weird.
I think of him as a naturally very weird guy who is very bad with money and bankrupt and now has to take every role that's offered to him because he's bankrupt.
Was that Fred Willard's deal? Because Fred Willard was in a lot of crap.
I don't know what Fred Willard's deal is. Was. Oh, R.I.P.
He was always consistently good in whatever he was in.
Yeah, he was.
You knew what you were getting with Fred Willard. What?
He was the new Joe in that one sketch from I Think You Should Leave. The one who, the organ player at the funeral?
Yes.
Alright. So
Martha Odell is heading out. She's going to go decompress with some actual journalism.
Yep.
She's gonna go watch
Senate races. And she tells Matt basically that everybody on staff is terrible at keeping secrets, and she knows everything about him and Harriet. And he doesn't want Martha to get the wrong idea, so he tells Martha the truth, which is that he started writing good sketches because he was trying to impress Harriet, and that's what made him break through. And then he writes her a check for $100 because he lost, and she's like, because of ethics and journalism, I cannot cash this, but I will take this as a symbolic victory.
She says, I'll put it in the drawer with all the others, which I think is a very fun character detail for her.
Yeah, I do like that. Oh, also, the stage manager comes over the headphones and is like, hey, Jordan's on her way. If you see her, be nice to her because she passed on this terrible reality show and everyone's mad at her now. And of course, Danny hears this and is like, oh, wait, maybe I do need to respect her. And also, the stage manager, Cal, says, Jack Rudolph's wandering the streets, so no one's safe tonight, which of course he means because Jack is so angry, but I'm like, that line was funnier before Me Too.
Oof.
Right?
Also, Matt was playing with the Harriet the Harriet
taunting
him bat for the whole scene.
Yeah. Alright, so Jordan goes to go talk to Trevor, or rather, not Aaron Sorkin, the young playwright who has written the show Nations about the United Nations. And he's like, yeah, I can't bring the show to MBS. I have to bring it to a good network, so I'm going to HBO. Sorry.
And Jordan's like, wait, let me appeal to you by proving that I am also a smart person and therefore worthy of respect. I'm aware of your history as a writer, and I understand the things you were referencing, so you have to take me seriously. I'm proving myself intellectually to you right now. Would a dumb person recognize those references you did to other things?
Yeah, then Danny comes in and is like, hey, Trevor, come here. And he takes Trevor aside, and then Trevor's like, okay, I'll do the show at your network. Because Danny just told him to.
And Jordan's like, wait, so I had to list off his entire resume and bibliography in order to get him to respect me, and you just came in and he immediately did whatever you said? And Danny's like, oh, sweetie, he never respected you at all.
Yup. Alright, so are you ready for another full Sting song on a lute?
Yeah. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, here's the thing. I don't know why we're dedicating, a full 2 minutes to Sting playing the lute, but it is a beautiful version of a very beautiful song, so it's Fields of Gold on the lute.
Yeah. It's a nice song. It's just, it feels we had a lot of time to kill, so we let Sting sing 2 whole songs in this episode for some reason.
Okay, the only thing that happens during this song is we find out that this was Matt and Harriet's song, and they stand on the balcony and watch Sting and share a longing look and are like, what's going on with us? Are we gonna kiss?
Will we or won't we?
And then we go to credits.
Eventually, after Sting sings the rest of the song.
Yeah, for a while.
And we see every cast member looking at him while watching him in reverent awe, because it's the only way you can look at someone on the show, with disgust or with reverent awe. That's kind of the only 2 speeds.
Yep. And that is the long lead story. We have some segments.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Alright, our first segment is half as long and twice as funny. What happened in this show that 30 Rock did better?
Okay. I know that they're not related at all, but I maintain that Pam, the overly confident, morbidly obese woman, is better than Jenny Wants a Baby. Or
Jenny doesn't have a baby.
Yeah, Jenny doesn't have a baby.
They both have, weird, peppy songs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what made me think of it. But, specificity is funny. Pam, the overly confident, morbidly obese woman. It's 2 very specific things.
Also, that song is from the, fake credits to that sketch is so good and so peppy, and it becomes the leitmotif for the rest of the show. Whenever we're talking about the show, that's what's playing in the background.
Yeah. It's weird that Tina Fey's husband is so good at music in 30 Rock and so bad at it in the Mean Girls musical.
So mean. You're so
But
mean.
not inaccurate. Revenge Party is
I
fine.
love Revenge Party.
Revenge Party is fine. It's catchy.
Okay, so for me, it was not for my piece on this. Unlike what we're going to talk about next week, I do not think that 30 Rock was specifically referencing Studio 60. I think that they were just making fun of Sting. But there is a moment where Jack is recording advice to give to his future son because he realizes he's going to be an old dad and might be dead before his son grows up. And he tells him that if he has a wedding reception, do not hire Sting to play your reception. He'll just insist on doing jazz covers of Police songs, and it's just demoralizing.
Yeah, I feel like that probably wasn't actually a direct reference to this, but maybe it was. We know that they watched Studio 60. There are some very direct shots at it in 30
Like,
Rock.
literally direct shots when Aaron Sorkin shows up. Our second segment is Women, a gender I write perfectly well for when the occasion calls for it.
Okay, can I just... The thing with the young writer disrespecting Jordan and then immediately listening to Danny.
Oof.
Woof.
Okay, so for me, it was the thing where Martha Odell is not writing anything down, which is fine because I see that she's trying to build a rapport with her subject, but then she has no plan for when Harriet leaves. She's like, oh, somebody give me a pen! And even if she had a pen in the green room, the reason she doesn't have one now is because she got distracted by Sting and wandered out onto the stage.
You know, women are horny for Sting.
Guess so.
I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but, like, she's a reporter and, you know, a fully grown woman.
She's seen much sexier people than Sting, I'm just saying. She writes for Vanity Fair. All right, our final segment is You Know My Work. What was specifically taken from Aaron Sorkin's life?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but he wrote this show called The West Wing.
It's about the White House, and you think it would be boring, but it's actually really funny and clever and smart, and the dialogue is just so snappy. Yeah. Also, he was a young playwright when he wrote West Wing.
It's not subtle.
No, not at all.
All right, I think that'll about do it for this week.
I think that will do it. The next episode is The Rap Party. And the description from Google Play, which is where we watch these episodes, is a drunken Jordan makes friends with the cast during an after-show party. Danny tries to get Matt's mind off Harriet with the help of 3 sexy women. Simon makes a plea to hire more black writers, and Cal deals with a mysterious man.
Oh my god.
There's so much in this next episode. So much. Also, that part where that Cal deals with a mysterious man part, I just have to tell you, they directly made fun of that in 30 Rock, so preview for that segment.
Okay, why is he trying to get Matt to hire more black writers if Matt writes the entire show himself? Shouldn't he be trying to get more black actors if he wants to get black people a job where they actually do stuff? And also have no chance of advancing?
They do keep saying that Matt writes the whole show himself, but I think we are to understand that at least some of this is workshopped through the actors' own bits, right? Like, we know that Jeannie came up with Commedia dell'arte. So...
yeah, and she's an actor on the show.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying you should be trying to get them roles as actors, because actors seem like the only people who can actually advance off this. I mean, the whole last episode was basically about Matt not letting the writers do anything and therefore stalling their careers.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Huh. I got nothing. Maybe he thinks if Matt's the one who hires the writer, Matt will actually let them write.
You know what, that's fair.
Oh. And also, that segment is so bad. I can't wait to talk about how bad it is. All right, that's it for now.
Yeah.
Our show is partially listener supported. If you want to be one of those supporters, head over to our website, www.welcometotelevision.net, and click on our Patreon link. We'd like to thank our current $5 and above patrons, Meryl, Patricia, Rosa, Ryan, Maricruz, Benjamin, Kate, Jen, Dan, Anthony, Daniel, and Hippolyta.
If you'd like to support the show in other ways, you could always rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find the show.
If you want to talk about Studio 60, I am here for it. If you want to talk about this episode, or any episode, or if you want to talk about any other television show, you can find us on Blue Sky at Welcome to TV, or you can email us at ilovetv... What is our email address?
Isn't it ilovetelevisionzines@gmail.com?
It is. Jesus. I've only said this 100 times.
Well, way more than 100.
You can email us at ilovetelevisionzines@gmail.com.
So until next time, I'm Max.
And I'm Sina.
And this has been Welcome to the Sunset Strip.